You've deleted the photos, you've cleared the apps, you've emptied every folder. But your iPhone still says storage is full. In your settings, you find the culprit, a massive block labeled System Data, quietly consuming 20, 40, or 60 gigabytes of your space, leaving you with no button to clear it. This isn't a mistake you made, it's a documented operating system flaw. It involves temporary files that fail to expire, a problem that became significantly more widespread following the release of iOS 26. To resolve this, you'll need a data cable and a computer, either a Mac or a Windows PC. We need to interact with the phone's file system from the outside to bypass the storage limitations currently preventing a fix. Because the phone's internal management has failed, resolving this deadlock requires moving beyond the standard menus on the device itself. Here is the protocol for forcing the system to clean itself out. System Data is essentially the jump drawer of your phone. It houses Safari caches, streaming buffers, and diagnostic logs. iOS is designed to shrink this pool automatically when space is low, but it is deliberately slow to do so, keeping data cached just in case you need it again. The problem arises when the housekeeping mechanism fails entirely. The category balloons, refuses to shrink, and because Apple provides no manual empty button, the storage stays occupied. A phone strangled by System Data cannot download the patch it needs. Local storage is too full to ingest the fix over Wi-Fi. We resolve this using an external machine. The computer handles file decompression, safely routing the update around the blockage. To do this, plug into a Mac using Finder, or a Windows PC using the Apple Devices app. Select your phone in the menu and click Update. This forces the new version onto the device without needing to clear space first. This is the most effective way to break the gridlock, allowing the updated operating system to finally trigger its internal cleanup routines. If the update alone doesn't clear enough space, you need to manually evict the data from two specific native hoarders, Safari and Messages. In your settings, go to Messages and change Keep Messages from Forever to 30 days. Then go to Safari and select Clear History and Website Data. This will sign you out of most ICE, but it immediately deletes gigabytes of cached media. Now, go into both the Photos and Messages apps and empty the recently deleted folders. Until you do this, those files are still indexed and taking up room in the System Data category. Next, check your per-app storage list for third-party cache monsters. Look specifically for social media apps and video editors. These apps frequently store large temporary work files that iOS fails to clear. When dealing with a bloated app, the offload button is often insufficient because it preserves the app's internal data. To ensure the cache is fully purged, you must select Delete App and reinstall it fresh from the App Store. These steps manually force the eviction of digital debris that the system has stubbornly refused to release on its own. Once you've completed these purges, perform a full restart of your phone. iOS requires a reboot to refresh its storage index. You may not see the actual results of your cleanup in the storage graph until the system reindexes the file structure upon startup. While troubleshooting, avoid third-party storage cleaner apps. This diagram shows iOS sandboxing. Apps are isolated. A third-party app cannot touch System Data. Similarly, swiping apps closed recovers zero space, and the date jump trick is an unreliable gimmick that breaks security codes without clearing data. True recovery comes from working within the system's actual architecture, not through third-party shortcuts. If the System Data block remains unmoved after all these steps, you have reached the final option, the full system reset. Back up your phone to a computer or iCloud. Then go to Settings, General, and select Erase All Content and Settings. Once the wipe is complete, restore your data from that backup. This works because it forces iOS to discard every orphaned file and corrupted cache. It builds a brand new storage index from a clean state, only bringing back your actual data and apps. Before you erase, ensure you have secondary access to your banking and two-factor authentication apps. Wiping your primary device will require you to re-verify these accounts, so keep your recovery codes or a second trusted device at hand. When the internal database is this compromised, a complete structural reset is the only way to ensure the system releases every gigabyte it was holding. This is the result for most users. The system data bar drops from 50 or 60 gigabytes down to a manageable 10. The phone is finally able to function without constant storage full warnings. However, you should be aware that for a small number of people, the data may begin to creep back over several weeks. If it does, remember that this is an ongoing software bug from Apple, not a failure in your process. Your best defense is to install point updates as soon as they are released, as these often contain the silent housekeeping fixes needed to stay ahead of the bug. Managing these system behaviors is the only way to maintain your hardware. If this helped you identify the block eating your storage, hit like, share it with someone struggling with a full phone, and subscribe for more direct tech guides.